Welcome to Nassau Community College Forum. This program explores our rich educational environment, including our dedicated faculty, administration, student clubs, and more than 70 fields of study, along with the students who make this college the largest single-campus community college in the state and is the first choice for one of every 4 college-bound high school graduates in Nassau County.
Hello and welcome. I'm Kevin Boston Hill. Welcome to Nassau Community College Forum, where each week we will shine a spotlight on a different department, club, or area here at Nassau Community College. Today, we will explore the Office of Academic Advisement. Our guest today is Professor Amanda Fox. Welcome to NCC Forum.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Great. So, before we get into what academic advisement does and is, let's tell the listeners a little bit about you. So what is it that brought you to Nassau Community College?
This is an excellent question. So first, I'm proud to say that I am a Nassau Community College graduate. So That's one of the things I think I'm most proud of. And, after completing my education, my higher education, I was very fortunate to be able to come back here to where I started to provide a service that I feel is extremely valuable and very important for our student population.
Excellent. So a homegrown person
That's
comes
correct.
back to give back to the community.
Correct. That's
excellent.
Correct.
So let me ask you this. What is the difference, or is there a difference between the Office of Academic Advisement and, say, my high school guidance department?
That is an excellent question. Yes, there is a difference. I think the goal is the same, is to try to help students understand their purpose for being here, understand their curriculum choices, to help them make decisions about coursework and which direction to move in. I think the biggest difference, though, is that once they get here, they're adults. We
Yes.
treat them as such. And the intrusive nature of a guidance counselor, which would perhaps call your home if you're not doing well, be looking for you in the hallway, like, hey, how's it going? We are taking a different approach here.
Got it.
And of course, we are always available as a resource to students, but that we are not going to seek out the student to have that relationship or dialogue. We expect that the student come for us. And we always make ourselves available to our particular student population, but it's not that same intrusive nature where we're not tracking you down if, somebody told us you didn't come to class or, you didn't do well on an exam or a test. There's no mechanism for professors to communicate with us in that way.
Okay. And so therefore, how would students be able to seek you out if they need help?
That's a great question. So our service is primarily for students who are liberal arts majors.
Okay.
And essentially what that means is a large number of our students come into the college without really being certain as to what major they'd like to pursue. And that is quite normal.
Right.
A young person doesn't always know what direction they'd like to move in. So our office is tasked with advising those liberal arts majors and also students who are truly undecided, who don't have an idea of what it is they'd like to pursue. Anybody who has made a decision about a major or career choice would be advised by their academic department of choice.
Okay.
So we are available on a walk-in basis. We're located in the Student Services Center, which is our brand new, beautiful facility. We've been in about 2 years now. And we are housed with a number of other enrollment services. Students can come see us on a walk-in basis anytime we're open.
Okay. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop when they come down
In
there.
a sense, yes. For enrollment services, anything that needs to be completed in order to satisfy your enrollment requirements are all under one roof, which has been really wonderful for our students.
Great. So what kind of, I know you say that it's open to your liberal arts students, but if I'm coming into school and I think of myself as a pretty good student and I think I don't need any help doing anything. So what is is there such thing as a typical profile of student who would be ripe for academic advisement?
I think that the message we try to communicate to every student is that academic advisement is really important. You may be really smart and have not needed that much support in high school and really able to make your own choices. However, it's a new environment. It's a new experience. It's a new location. It's a program that you're maybe not familiar with. Students need to understand what courses they should be registering for. And that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of what we are doing in that initial visit.
Got it.
Taking their interests into consideration, their work schedules, their lives. A lot of our students are working students, they're parents, they're caring for parents. So there isn't really a typical student that we're going to see on a daily basis. Everybody is so different, and I think that's what makes my job really enjoyable, And so I get to, experience a lot of different types of scenarios.
Excellent. I like that. So would an advisor, if I come in to seek out the advice from an advisor or the help from an advisor, is that person going to tell me what courses I need to take, or kind of just suggest courses, and how is that relationship
That's
work?
also an excellent question. So we really see advisement as a partnership.
Okay.
It's a dialogue and a relationship. And although we don't have caseloads, meaning that there are not students who are assigned specifically to me, we see students on walk-in. They're welcome to request the same person again if they develop a connection, which is an option. But really we see it as a relationship in the sense that we are providing information about options.
Got it.
And the student is taking our advice and trying to make the best decision for them based upon the information we've presented to them. So we don't ever tell anybody they have to do anything. We can strongly suggest
Exactly.
or recommend, and there are certain policies of the college that every student has to follow, and we make that clear. But as far as course options, there's so many. So we try to just be, a sharer of information and a resource for students.
Okay. And I guess even though, again, it's just for or primarily for the liberal arts students, is there a way for, if I'm not a liberal arts major and I come in and I'm looking for some support, will I just be automatically turned back to my department of choice, or how does that relationship
So I think it
kind of
really
work?
depends on the nature of the information you're looking for.
Okay.
We feel it is so important for students who are just coming into the college to have an immediate connection with their departments.
Okay.
If you're a business major, your business faculty are your area experts. They understand the field, they understand the profession, they understand the job opportunities, and they understand their curriculum.
Okay.
So we really try to encourage that relationship and that connection right from the beginning. If a student is unclear about a policy, has a question about procedure, they're always welcome to come to our office to ask those questions, and we will never just kick somebody out the door. But we will do our best to try to make that connection for that student and point them in the right direction so that they do get the help that they need.
Okay, great. And usually, when do you kind of open up your doors with, when's the first time that a student can walk into your office?
So of course it's cyclical, right? We have these ups and down patterns of activity, and brand new students typically register after all of our currently enrolled students.
Okay.
So we have a spring and a fall term, and spring students can begin registering right around Thanksgiving. And if you're coming in for the fall, it's right after Easter, at the end of April, I would say. And all new students are communicated with via email by us to let them know where their department is located and who they should be contacting for advisement information.
Okay.
That happens as part of the admissions process.
Excellent. You are listening to Nassau Community College Forum on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Kevin Boston Hill, and our guest today is Professor Amanda Fox from the Office of Academic Advisement. So let me ask you this: during the registration, or after registration is done, is it possible for a student to change their program?
Absolutely. Program meaning schedule or major? Schedule. Okay.
Well, both actually, schedule or major.
Those are both really good questions. So, of course, our students come in, and some of them really weren't involved in the admissions process to begin with, right? So maybe mom filled out the application or the guidance counselor filled it out, and sometimes the choice that was checked in the box about which major they want, once they get to us, turns out that that's not really what they're interested in.
Right.
So we have a lot of new students who are making changes to their program, and that's how we refer to it, before they even register for their courses. If they were to register and say, you know what, I thought I wanted to be, I'm going to use business again, although I'm not picking on them. It's just at the top of my mind.
Yeah, I was a business major.
Right. Okay. No offense. And, they say, you know what, I thought this was one thing, but really I may be interested in something else. There's always an opportunity to change your program. We do suggest that it happens earlier on in your time here rather than later, because students need to remember that not all courses apply to all majors. So you want to make sure that you're trying to make that choice as soon as possible so that you can stay on the appropriate path for transfer and graduation.
Got it. And since we're talking about transfer and graduation, I guess how does the Office of Advisement support me in that, and as far as the selection of a potential school and then the ultimate transfer of credits over?
This is a good question, and I think sometimes students become a bit confused because advisement is a big umbrella. So it could be a lot of things, right? So our area of expertise is really focusing on what a student's degree requirements are while at NCC.
Got it.
We have a transfer office on campus, part of the Student Personnel Services Department. They're located in Nassau Hall. Their area of expertise is developing relationships with local and not so local colleges, understanding the admissions requirements, and helping students to facilitate that connection between Nassau Community College and their next step.
Got it.
So we work with transfer to refer students to them. And also we are very involved in having general information about the transfer process. One of the things that we do well and we do often is working with students to make sure that they're meeting what we call SUNY general education requirements.
Got it.
Every student who's transferring to a SUNY school must have general education requirements satisfied prior to doing so. And so we make sure that we work with them so that they understand what those requirements are and make sure that they meet them before they leave us.
Okay. Now, of course, that's transferring to a 4-year school. Now,
Correct.
let's say, I started here it's my first year, and my family moves to Texas.
Okay, it happens.
And so, obviously, I'm not commuting from
No.
Texas.
Although we do have
here.
online courses, but no. I mean, logically, you would re-enroll somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so is there a process, or that maybe those credits would then transfer with me to that junior college
Absolutely.
that I'm going to? Okay.
Absolutely, yes. Our credits are designed for maximum transferability. We are, widely respected, and I think students are in a very good position if they do need to leave and go elsewhere. As long as they're meeting, minimum grade requirements, they should not have an issue in transferring credits to other colleges.
Okay. And does the office also suggest tutoring if it's necessary, or any other academic supports?
So we
recommend?
really, the way I see our services is more of we're a hub. So students come in for a variety of reasons, not really being sure as to whether or not we're the appropriate place to go.
Right.
But what we try to do is sort out what the issue is, what the student's having trouble with, and our responsibility is to be knowledgeable about our campus resources and to make sure that we are making appropriate referrals for that student based upon the issue that they're presenting with. So we have liaison relationships with a lot of our on-campus services to reach out on behalf of a student and make sure that we're making those appropriate referrals.
Okay. That sounds good. I think it sounds like students would be in extremely good hands
I
if they
think
come
so.
into,
Yes, I'd like to
the
think
office.
so. I'd like to think
Good.
so.
So let me ask you, if you say you want to build the relationships between the advisors and the students when they come in, is there an opportunity for students to, or let me put it this way, does all advising have to be done face-to-face? Can it be done via email or virtually as well?
So the primary preference, of course, would be to sit down face-to-face with our students. We have online students who are not in the state, right. They're elsewhere, and there is a mechanism and a procedure to communicate via email with those students, a phone call. There are privacy issues that we need to be aware of and take seriously and follow those policies, but we understand that times are changing. Face-to-face is not always the way things happen, and we try to be as flexible as we can in terms of providing students with information in whatever modality works best for them.
Okay. And if I'm not entirely sure, again, I'm this 18-year-old student, 18-year-old student who comes in and, like you said, mom filled out my application and everything for me. So how can I select the major that is right for me? I
think this is something that is really important and, something that I'd love for the listeners, especially the parents and high school students who are hearing this. It is so important, although parental involvement is critical, right? We need to be able to support our students, and they've been there all along, and they're going to be there going forward. This is the time where students really need to have the opportunity to advocate for themselves, to have the conversation with the advisor. And so part of our job is to help students figure that out. We ask questions. They ask questions. They come prepared with ideas. We can take those ideas and make recommendations based upon things that we're aware of and things that we have knowledge of. But it's really important that conversation be between the student and the advisor, because that is how that student's going to grow. Okay. And we always joke, sometimes it's not funny. It depends on who you're talking to. But really, it's not mom or dad sitting in the class.
Right.
And the student needs to be comfortable with the choices that are being made about whether or not this is a subject or an area that would be right for them. And sometimes it's trial and error.
Right.
You don't know you don't like something until you try it. So, that unfortunately is part of the deal, but I think it's understood. And, it's part of that growing experience.
Excellent. Thank you for that. You are listening to Nassau Community College Forum. I'm